Hey everyone, today I'm going to go over all of my old Mighty Morphin Power Ranger vinyl figures. I've just finished getting, I believe, the whole line of these things, all the ones they ever put out in the US. So first up, let's go over Bones here. Now Bones is one of the really early monsters in Mighty Morphin, and this is a really cool figure. Originally he came with a sword, which you can see his hand is sculpted to hold a sword, and also he has a holster on his belt to hold the sword. That is a really cool detail. His other hand is open, so can't hold the sword with that hand. The other neat thing about this guy is he has a vinyl cape. That's neat, although it does get wrinkled up. He's been in a box for a long time. Anyway, if you flip the cape up, you can see there's a lot of interesting detail on his back here. These two, like, backbone things, or whatever those are. Yeah, they're not even. That's interesting. I'm wondering if that's actually accurate to the show. Now, the weird thing with this guy is he's really hard to, like, pose and stand up because of the weird angle his legs are bent at, so you have to have him in, like, just the right pose to get him to stand evenly on the ground. Let's see. He has this weird yellow tint to the front of him. I don't know what that's all about. Okay. Anyway, really nice figure. A lot of really nice detail on this guy. Yeah, he's really cool looking, but yeah, for now, back in the box. And then next up, here's King Sphinx. Not the most popular monster. He's kind of a nothing monster. But he sure appeared in a lot of promotional material, and they made a lot of toys of him for some reason. Oh, right, because he was in the pilot. Whatever. Anyway, got details really good on this guy. Very accurate to the show. One thing I really wish is his wings really should have been articulated so you could recreate the scene where he's flapping his wings. His tail is articulated. I don't know why they bothered giving an articulated tail, whatever. Anyway, when I was looking over this figure earlier, I noticed this on his shoulders. Yeah, there's actually little etched, like, Egyptian hieroglyphs in his shoulders. That is a really cool little detail for this guy. What's that little snake thing up there? It looks like that fuzzy thing from Kamen Rider now. Huh. Anyway, it's a decent figure. So, oh, and also, this is a thing I always thought was funny. He has big Popeye forearms. He could have forearms like Popeye. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Like, they weren't that puffy in the show, were they? Anyway, okay, moving on. Here we got Goldar. Goldar is a really nice figure. I love this gold paint they used. It really stands out, makes him shiny, really stands out from the other figures in this line. So strange that years later Bandai would have such an issue with gold paint, when here it turned out just fine. Yeah, all the paint application on this guy is really good. The sculpting is really good. The face is pretty accurate to the show, although they gave him a really long, sticking out snout. I don't think it sticks out that much in the show, but close enough. Anyway, turn him around. They even got his tail up in that little sling thing, whatever that is. Oh, and he has his wings, even though this was an early release. So I guess they were looking at that one scene in the first episode where he's flying. After that, he loses his wings. He doesn't get them back until season 2 of Power Rangers. He never got the wings back in Jew Ranger, except for, like, stock footage, I think. So anyway, there's Goldar. Really nice looking figure, not a whole lot to talk about. His hands are not sculpted to hold anything, even though they did eventually put out his weapon with a putty. Yeah, if you want Goldar's sword, you gotta get a putty figure. Anyway, the sword is really nice and is accurate to the show. Focus on his sword. Okay, there we go. You can see the little serrated edges there at the hilt, and all the detail on the hilt and the handle there. Really cool sword. And also, let's talk about the putty. Really accurate face on the putty. Got the red eyes. Got the clay hands. Little details on the chest there. He's got the same boots. So yeah, the putty is a really cool, really accurate figure. Very shiny though for some reason. They gave the early putty toys this weird kind of blue silver shine to them. I don't really know what that was all about. It looks a bit more like the Z putties outfits more than the standard Jew Ranger stock footage putties that had more of a rockish gray color. Still really cool figure though. And the shiny blue does work for the figure. It looks really nice. He does look very strange holding the sword, though, since in the show, Yeah, the Putties almost never wielded weapons, and they certainly never wielded Goldar's sword. So moving on, here we got Finster. Finster's a really nice figure. There's lots of cool detail on Finster. I love the detail on the apron. He's got all those little doohickeys hanging off. He's got this little magnifying glass necklace. Move around. You can see a ton of little details all over him. This is a weird thing. Now, on the back of his head, there's like a silver paint there. I don't know why the tip of his head is painted silver. Same with his ears. The tips of his ears are painted silver. He has silver lips. I guess those are lips. Let's see, he has little glasses, although there's only the one glass there. And they gave him angry eyes for some reason. That's very weird to see Finster with angry eyes. Anyway, let's see, any little details anywhere to talk about? Oh, this is there's like little details on these little thingies at the ends of his pant legs. Like weird little details people would never think to notice. Lift his apron up, it's just, yeah, more detail on his pants there. I like they kept his curly boots. That was a neat little thing to keep. Oh, and his headband's there. Nice. So yeah, nice little Finster figure, although I don't know why he has angry eyes or silver lips. Those are the two things that really stand out with this guy. Next up, here we got Squat. Squat's a really nice looking little figure. Now, originally he came with a little pouch with a loop that looped around him. Unfortunately, mine is missing. But yeah, let's take a look at the rest of him. He's got really accurate face. Don't know why he has half-lidded eyes. In the show, his eyes are always wide open. Got a little horn bursting through that helmet there. He's got little scratch details on his, I don't know what that is, chest armor or whatever. Got all little, like, watches or whatever those are. He's sculpted holding a gun. He can't remove this. It's attached right to the figure. And I don't know where it came from. Like, I'm sure there's a Ranger episode or even a Power Ranger episode where he's holding this, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, they didn't paint the whole gun. The bottom of it, the handle of it's, yeah, just the same color of his hand. I know he did, like, shoot a laser at the Mr. Tickle Sneezer doll to bring it to life, but I don't think it was this that he used. Whatever. Anyway, he's got the spot design pants, although the design doesn't go all the way around. Got really detailed boots here. A lot of detail on the arms. He's got little spikes. There was something on his shoulder here, which is broken apparently at some point. I bought this used, so I don't remember. I don't know what was there. I think it was like just a little knob, kind of like what's on the ear pieces of the helmet. Oh, and the design, yeah, there's a little detail all the way around him. He's got little spikes on his back, little scratches on his armor. Really cool all around little figure. If you can find him with the pouch, definitely pick him up. Also, if the shoulder thing is intact there. And next up, we got a very blue Baboo. I don't really know, I don't really get why they colored Baboo so, like, overly blue early on. Like, he was black and white, not blue. Like, there was some blue, like, in his face, I think. Sometimes. In Power Rangers. I don't think he had much blue in Ranger. Oh, and speaking of which, he was a character who you could see the face of, and this face doesn't really resemble the guy from Ranger or the guy from Power Rangers. But at least it doesn't look like the crappy monkey mask that he had a few times in Power Rangers. Still, it's an okay looking face. Like, it does the job. I can tell it's supposed to be Baboo. It's not, yeah, 100% accurate, but whatever. Anyway, a lot of neat little details. Got his monocle, and if you look really close, you can see there's a little design meant to look like a little chain hooking it around his ear. That is a cool little attention to detail. He's got that little spider leg thing on his forehead there. Let's see. You can see all the little detail on his arm. Very accurate to the suit in the show. He's got all these little bits of stuff on his chest there. He's got the little bat wing thing on his little claw hand. Oh, and like Bones, this is a figure that's hard to stand because of the awkward angle his legs are at. And, eh, yeah, very strange. He's got these bony wing remnants or whatever, which I think are supposed to be black actually, and they colored them like actual bones. Okay, like I appreciate the effort and accuracy, but I don't think that's actually accurate to the show. That's more just what bones look like. Anyway, other than that, really nice figure. Oh, look at his spine there. That is cool, and all the detail on him. Sculpting on all these vinyl figures is just amazing. So moving on to, let's talk about Season 2 figures. Here we got Rhino Blaster, one of the Jew 2 monsters, not a monster from Jew Ranger. This guy was only in Power Rangers. Really nice figure, well sculpted, it looks like him. All these are, like, very accurate to their appearance in the show, although the paint on his horns is kind of weird. Also, his horns are rounded off because kid's toy. I feel like they could have had them be a little sharper, kind of like his ears. His ears do come to a point, so I think his horns could have. This just looks kind of silly having two, like, blobby horns on his head. Oh, and his teeth I think are supposed to be white actually, or maybe they are yellow in the show. I don't remember. But yeah, really good Rhino Blaster figure. He's got those little pink bubble things all over his body. Turn him around. Not much to say on the back, although they painted his heels. That's a really, wow. They really put a lot of effort into these things. If these were made today, I would think what they did was they scanned the actual suit and then, like, they 3D printed a model or something. But this was made long before that kind of technology, so they just had some very talented sculptors looking at the suit and creating this very accurate representation of them. And next up, here's Piranha's head. Now, this one I have a lot of nostalgia for because this was the first Power Rangers vinyl figure that I ever got. It's a really nice figure. I've tried my best to keep it in good shape, although it did get played with a lot as a kid. You can see, like, dirt smudges and stuff on it. Oh, and there's that weird stain that's never come off. I don't know what that is. Anyway, Piranha's head is a really cool figure. Let's see. Oh, the hands, they just look like gloves, which they might have been in the show. I don't know. Just turn this guy around, look at all the detail. The interesting thing with this guy, there is actually a variant figure of this guy where all the white parts are colored this kind of blue-gray color. But unfortunately, I couldn't find that figure anywhere in time for this video. It's, yeah, it's strange that there were variants because this is accurate to the show. He was white, like, this is, yeah, a really accurate color to the show. The blue-gray one, I don't know, like, maybe they jumbled up the plastic molds they were using, or the plastic they were using. I have no idea. Oh, look at the tail. Nice detail on the tail there. Just all around, this is a really cool figure. I really like this. And then here's Lord Zed, my newest addition to the collection. And he comes with his staff. That's awesome. Let's see. Let's take a look at the face. Now, in profile, the face looks, or the head looks okay. And then you turn it around, it's not looking quite like Zed. Little Z up there is nicely detailed, though it's really thick so that it won't break or anything. You can see all the, like, musculature of Zed there. This waist piece is very big for some reason. It makes him look a little weird. Kind of makes him look like he's wearing a big diaper or something. Anyway, the staff is nice. Let's take a look at the staff. The Z is very good. It's got these weird little dots on it. I don't know what that's about. His hands are sculpted to not quite hold it, so there's a little loop around to hook it to his hand. And there's a little spike at the bottom. So it looks okay enough. You see the little veins going throughout his body there. The red's got a nice shine on it. I think there was another Zed of this scale that could talk. This one doesn't talk. He's just a hollow vinyl figure. And then here we got Sockadillo. This is a really cool monster. I've always loved Sockadillo's design. He has a really cool look to him. He reminds me of, like, an old Ultraman monster or something. They got all the little like shell grooves that he has in the show. That's really nice attention to detail there. Not a whole lot too interesting to talk about with this guy. He's just a really, really nice looking figure. Look at, oh, whoops. The inside of the arm is like a different material than the outside of the arm. That's another really nice attention to detail there. I got all these little bumps and spots and grooves for the armor. It's a really nice representation of the character from the show. I would have loved to have this as a kid because I really liked Sockadillo. I loved his voice and his abilities. He was a really cool monster. And then here we got Goofish. Goofish is another amazing monster. Really cool looking, unique monster. Let's see, take a look at the face here. Very accurate to the show. He's got that weird, like, a second mouth on the side of his head, or whatever that is. I don't know. And we're just all over. There's a lot of detail on this guy. Also, interestingly, if you cover up the sides of his head and just look at the middle, he kind of looks like that Cyclops monster from Nightmare Before Christmas, which may have actually been an influence. Nightmare Before Christmas was really big in Japan, so it might have been an influence on his design a little bit. Anyway, got all the fins. Let's see, in the show, this guy did have a staff, and like in pictures, you usually see him holding it. I don't know if this figure actually had a staff. His hands are open, but I don't think they're sculpted to hold anything unless it had like a loop on it, kind of like Zed's staff. Yeah, really nice figure all around. Really a whole lot interesting to say about him. He's just a really cool looking figure. And last up for the Ju2 monsters, here we got Guitardo. Another really nice looking monster, a lot of nice detail on this guy. One of the things that surprises me about these is how we have all these like little creases and like wrinkles in the skin. It kind of makes it look like it's a suit. Like it really looks like they 3D scanned a suit or something and then just like printed it out. But yeah, this is all like just a very talented sculptor's work. Oh, also an interesting thing I never noticed. On the tip of his wing, you can see like there's a little circular something there. And on the other wing, it's broken off. I bought this used, and I have no idea if that was there or not when I bought it. He's been sitting in a box for quite a while, so it might have like been knocked off at some point. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe it was just gone, and I never noticed because it's a super tiny detail. So anyway, yeah, there's a Guitardo. A nice accessory for him would have been his guitar. Unfortunately, I don't think he came with anything. If anybody knows about any like accessories these guys came with, tell me in the comments, because I'm not sure with most of these. It's kind of hard to find reference pictures for a lot of these. So next up here we got Ivan Ooze from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. It's a very well detailed figure. The skin I don't think is quite accurate to the color he had in the movie. It was more of like a brighter color. I think the face might have looked a little better if it was that brighter color. Also, the paint on his face is a little weird. The eyes don't look quite right. The mouth and the lines look a little wonky. But the sculpting wise, it's really good. You can turn the head all the way around and see all the detail on the back. I think the chin probably should have been tilted down a little bit, not sticking straight out. You can see all the little details on the body, that little medallion thing, whatever that is. And the robe, he's a big hollow brick, basically. He's a big empty brick, and because he's vinyl, you can press on him and listen to him breathe. Anyway, let's look at the arms here. The arms are really nice, and a nice detail that I don't even know if it's actually accurate to the movie, but on the back of his hand, you can see like these little spiky things on his knuckles. I have no idea if that's accurate to the movie or not, or if that's just like a flare they added to the toy. You can see him really nice here. These little spikes coming out of his knuckles. I don't know what that is. I'll have to watch the Blu-ray and see if I can notice that. He's got the big collar back here. That's a really cool detail. Helps him look a lot more like himself, although maybe it should have been pushed up a little bit. Or maybe the neck should have been a little lower. Yeah, really nice Ivan Ooze figure. So next up, here's Master Vile, another really, really nice figure, and also another big hollow brick figure that you can squeeze and listen to him breathe. Anyway, take a look at his head. He has those big, whatever those are, come out the side of his head. You can even see like the little dangly things, earring whatevers that hang off it. His head's got all the nice grooves and wrinkles. You can see big googly eyes, which look a little silly, but it is actually pretty accurate to how he looks in the show. He's got the glasses, mouth is in the same like expression that he usually had in the show. Turn him around on the back of his shoulder wrap thing. You can see all these little triangular thingies that kind of remind me of what Rita has hanging off the back of that thing she wears, and I wonder if that's what inspired them to make this guy her father, or if that's just a detail they added to the toy. Oh, and he has like a little scarf thing which wraps around. That's a really neat little detail there. I love that. You can see the little snake things that come out of his shoulders there. Little claws coming out that. All the techie stuff on his chest, the little dangly thingies on it. His hands are interesting because Oh, okay. I don't know if they're actually supposed to, like, move around like that, but, they do. It might just be because they're so loose or something, but yeah, the detail on his hands and arms that are there, that's a really nice thing. He came with a staff, I believe. Unfortunately, mine's missing that. So, oh yeah, and the bottom of this, like the Ivan Ooze figure, these tend to blow out after a couple of years. When I was little, I had some banks, rubber vinyl banks, and they were like big empty blocks, and they had these type of plastic thingies on the bottom, and they would blow out sometimes. So this guy, when you stand him up, he's a little lopsided because this thing is blowing out a bit, and this side here is pushing into the figure, and there's not really much I can do about it unless I like get in there with a little file or something and try to pop it back out. But I'm not gonna bother. Anyway, really nice Master Bile figure. Really cool. And next up, let's see, here we got, I think this is Merrick of the Barbaric Brothers. The detail on this guy is really, really nice. You can see just so much detail on this guy. He's not even like that interesting of a monster, but the level of detail they put into these toys is amazing. Let's see, he has this removable drill thing on his hand there. You can get a close look of this drill here with a little whatever that is at the end, and there's the interior, nothing really too interesting. And then you can see the hand. He's got a wristband that goes around his wrist. The other hand has a wristband that only goes halfway around and then seems to go under that orange, whatever that is. I don't really know what the orange stuff is, but these little thingies on his arms are like looped into it. Ugh. If that's supposed to be his skin, then that's kind of nasty. Ugh. Anyway, close look at the face there. Whatever those are, horns, I guess. He's got a little flask hanging off the back of his belt there. You even got little straps on the back of these metal things, like shin guards. Oh, and he's got really weird looking toes, like elephant toes or something. So yeah, really nice, cool looking figure. Ironic that they didn't make his brother in the same scale. They did make him, but just in a completely different scale. So moving on to the last two, here we got Calcifier. At least that's his American Power Rangers toy release name. He was never actually in Power Rangers. I think maybe he shows up in a toy commercial, and then that was about it. There's like stock footage of him in a toy commercial. So anyway, Calcifier, I love that he has a tiny little face way up here, and then he has a long neck, and then there's his body. He's got these weird tubey things all over him that lead into the back, and there's a hole on the back there. I think something might have went there, and it's missing on mine, unfortunately. Oh, and he's got like a cape or something on that hangs on off his back. He's got these little fin things off the sides of his head. Well painted. He really looks like how he does in Kaku Ranger. It's really nice. And I love that he has boots. Something about the boots just looks very funny to me. Like, he doesn't look like the type of monster that should just have boots. Got a red something tied around this arm. White strappy thing on his chest there. And again, this guy was never in Power Rangers, so I don't know why, of all the Season 3 monsters, they chose to make this guy. Oh, also his legs don't move. His waist swivels, kind of, though it's hindered because of the shape. The cape kind of gets in the way. So yeah, just his arms move. So last up, moving on, here we got Silent Knight. That was the name they gave him for his toy release over here. In Kaku Ranger, he was quite a important character, and I'm kind of surprised they made a toy of him, because it doesn't seem like a lot of the footage would be usable, so why would they think he even might show up in Power Rangers? It's just kind of weird, because there were a lot of Kaku Ranger monsters that did get used in Mighty Morphin, but not this guy and not the other guy, so I don't know, whatever. Anyway, take a look at the helmet. You can see a lot of nice little details. You can see all the little rivets. You can see that thing there on top. See all the detail on the armor, that flame design. Whoa, that just went out of focus. Weird. Okay, got the shoulder, got little dangly things hanging off it, little tassel, something or other. Oh, and all scuffed up and dirty on the back because this is kind of a rare figure, actually. I'm guessing probably partially because he's such an important character in Kaku Ranger. He's a well, I liked him in Kaku Ranger. It's one of the main reasons I wanted to find this figure. Also, I think he did have a sword, which his hands are sculpted to hold, but yeah, mine was missing it because this is a very rare figure as it is. I think partially the reason it's rare is because people just don't know it's a Power Ranger figure. When I found this one, I don't remember what it said. I don't think it said Power Rangers. I think they just had like Bandai figure or something. It didn't even have his name. So anyway, you can see all the little details on his armor, little purple strings or something holding it together. Cool little like fusion of a European knight and also samurai armor. It's weird that the soles of his feet are blue. I don't know what if that's accurate to the show because I haven't watched it in a while. It's got some red on his boots there. So yeah, really cool figure here, although, yeah, I don't know why it was made for Power Rangers. This might be a good something for Weird Bandai in the future. So yeah, there's all the Mighty Morphin vinyl figures, at least that I know of. If you know of any other Mighty Morphin vinyl figures that were released in the US, tell me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure this is all of them. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this. See ya.